Well, you can feel fall in the air. It is a beautiful morning here in Ontario. What's the temperature? 17. A little chilly, but still very, very nice out. Went down to Starbucks. Now, I was never a pumpkin spice latte guy. Hated the idea of it. I'm not a pumpkin guy.
Is that what you got?
It was. I didn't really know. It's the exact same as yours. I didn't really know what I was going to get this morning. I wasn't feeling it. The London fog, for whatever reason on Sundays, the Sunday staff here screws up the London fogs all the time. Off the list. Nothing worse than getting up on a beautiful Sunday and getting a horrible drink. You guys know that. If you're Starbucks people, or you go out and you get a coffee and you got your music on and you're walking along and take a sip of your drink and it's dog shit, there is nothing worse than that.
You're such a loser.
What?
You're walking your dog.
Yeah, there's lots worse than that, but it ruins your day. So I had a drink of Amy's the other day. I didn't tell her. I had a drink of Amy's the other day. It tastes like gingerbread.
No, it doesn't.
It does.
I don't like gingerbread.
And I love gingerbread. My
This is a little bit, like, do you like that? I feel like one more pump of pumpkin's needed.
Of pumpkin, yeah. Okay. So I went down to Starbucks, got the drinks. And, it's sunny out. You're feeling good. Took a drink of it. Tasted good. So it's already starting out good. And when I was coming in the Starbucks, there's this lady walking there. She got 18 drinks. Opened the door for her. Nice little smile on a Sunday morning.
What are you looking for? Medal or something?
No, it's just nice to be polite to somebody on a Sunday morning. Oh, okay then. So we had a great night last night. 4 jurisdictions we raced in. And truthfully, the only horse that didn't race awesome was No Free Lunch. And that's only because of circumstances. He got away 10th. There was nothing he could do. He had the 10 hole, got away 10th. Hot half and kind of run him into a blind switch. There was just nothing happening in the race for him. It was one of those races where I don't even know how he could have done better last night in that race. It was a complete pitch. The whole race was a complete pitch. And everybody else raced, I would say, exceptionally well. Amy and I watched Swinging Senorita. She's the third best filly in the race and finished third. A good third. And raced very, very good. To my knowledge, Coupe de Ville made the consolation of the Sire Stakes with that 4th last night, I believe. And it was in the Buckeye consolation. So the very best situation for Coupe de Ville to be in now. She's in the sale next week, and we talked about the sales. I did your videos; they're all done. I just have to write the email. I'll do that when Amy's fooling around with Tiger at the barn here. I'll write the email real quick, send it out. Amy and Wendy will have your additional videos out. But this video is just a recap about last night. Tactical Mounds looks like she's ascending the ranks. Man, she is sharp right now. Megan has her very good, and she raced amazingly good yesterday. Yanaba is no joke. And she trotted first over, cleared to the front. Yanaba had a clear run at her and wanted no part of Tactical Mounds yesterday. She was awesome. So congratulations to everybody that owns her, and Megan and Matt Kakali, who drove her. Five Fish Species also raced great. Megan raced her in Batavia. Mark popped first over. Somebody said, I wish he had stayed in. He might have been second. Well, Mark and I are brothers, and he might be a better driver than me, but deep down, we both want to win. And if you wanted to win that race, he had to move her where he did. He had to get a clear run at Marcus Miller. You're not going to attack and pass a horse at Batavia around the last turn and down the lane. You got to be up in their face and up in their bridle and moving forward. Unless your horse is just that much better. But all things being equal, Marcus Miller's filly was the favorite. Mark was second favorite, I believe. And for him to get a real run on her, and he's driven fish. He knows how good she is right now. For him to get a real run on that filly, he had to move her where he did, and I certainly didn't mind it. I would rather him take a swing at the leader than just, coast up in for second casually. I thought the filly raced amazingly. Just has really come on strongly at the end of the season. Again, another very, very well-bred filly with a lot of top end and a lot of worth as a broodmare. This Baumhugger's full sister, and it's not like Baumhugger was the be-all that ends all, but that entire family. Mary Marauder, I think, is the one in the second dam. I can't remember, but I mean, very, very good, very, very well-bred fillies. So we had a great race from Tactical Mounds. We had a great race from Swinging Senorita. We had a great race from Five Fish Species. Renegade Gypsy looked like he was coming to life. Man, Trace Teacher had him wound up, and when he dropped him in the passing lane, it was game on. He looked like he's coming back around now. Was great. Whose horse am missing? I'm missing one more. I know you were going to look at the calendar. Yeah, but then you let it go away. I'm missing one horse because Lunch, as I said, pitched the line. Yes, I am. I didn't talk about Coupe de Ville.
Yes, you did.
I just said she raced okay, but I didn't talk about how well she raced. She was in a sire stake race. To get finished fourth, 55 and a piece, 28-3 on the end of it, and looked good. So, that was last night. It was a great day, top to bottom. Really, really happy with the way the horses have been performing. You know, just on my way down to Starbucks today, I was thinking about it. We won the Fillies and Mares Open at the Meadows. That was an extremely lucky purchase on our part. But that's what we love about horse racing. Here we bought a horse from probably one of the top stables in the world, for the most part. And she ended up being an open pacing mare. So that's what I love about racing, is that every so often one of these little gems finds their way into your care for whatever reason. And Think of Galaxy is certainly a nice mare, and is going to do some good for us. Already has done plenty of good. We bought her 3 starts ago, and she's half paid for already. So Think of Galaxies wins the Open in 50 and 1, 2/5 off the track record on a day where, if it had been a week earlier, I break the track record that day. It was, it wasn't super hot out. There was a little wind. I think she could have, and she may. Just a very, very nice filly. Really, really happy with her. Patrick the Piranha just gets beat in the Open the week before. Yo Mister trots in 150 and then breaks the track record, seemingly in an impossible position on a half-mile track. We've had a lot of luck that way. I looked at all our stake horses last night and went over it with Amy. I think we have 26 horses that are going to their prospective distinction finals, whether that be the Prospect Series here or the Grassroots, or whether that be the Sire Stakes in Pennsylvania, Ohio, or Kentucky, A, B, and C divisions. 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds. We have 26 horses headed to the finals of their distinctions. So, in a nutshell, now obviously that's a political way to chop everything up. You can be negative and say, well, we, punch the clock at hurt and time is on my side didn't turn out yet. Or if you want to be really negative, maybe not at all. There's no need to have the negativity in this game. Because whether it's buying a mare that ends up being an open mare in Think of Galaxies, or whether it's buying a horse like Cupid Express that takes a new lifetime mark and runs off, we're going to have good, we're going to have bad. But as long as we continue to buy quality horses, things hopefully will work out. And no truer did that ring true than JK Victory. There's a horse that we bought. We got a lot of money for him. It looked like we were going to absolutely eat him. It looked like it was a terrible buy. Kept me up at night. Hit the pause button, and because we're able to, with the stable we have, moved the horse back to Indiana, back to Ron Burke, and said, all right, maybe it's just an Indiana thing. Maybe it's a Ron Burke thing. I don't know. Now we watched him win the Open 2 weeks in a row. Beat Pondo Warrior, who beat Line Drive Hanover and all those horses in the Dan Patch the week before. Coming in is a heavy, heavy favorite, and we beat him. So having a lot of luck this summer, having a lot of good trips, good drives, but mostly just having a lot of luck in a game that we all love. So we're heading into the fall now, and yes, this will be my first official public video talking about the sales, the buckets. Amy and I were talking this morning about the buckets and how it went last year and how we could change it. I know every year we have a number of people message me and say, can we have a trotting filly bucket? Can we have just a Pennsylvania bucket? No, I can't do that, because then we'd never be able to buy any other horses. What would happen would be everybody would buy the Pennsylvania horses that wanted, the Ontario or Ohio horses. We wouldn't buy any New Jersey, New York horses. And there might be people saying, well, that's good. It's not good for us. I want to be in those jurisdictions. If that's the case, we wouldn't have a Tactical Mounds right now, right? And although Brace for Landing still has a long way to climb out of, when you open his drawer, there's only red pens in there right now. But he'll get there. We wouldn't have him, right? We wouldn't have a Mel Gibbs Swan. Certainly wouldn't have a Sunset Acres girl, I can tell you that. So, I think the important thing about the buckets are, we always have people that are looking for horses. So if you end up with a horse in a bucket that maybe you don't want, there was people last year, I think we bought Arson and they didn't want Arson, so people were selling their shares. Well, there's always people out there that want an Arson. So if you buy into the buckets and you allow us to do our job, allow me to do my job, and then you open up, your bucket, your portfolio the day after the sale or 2 days after the sale, and you say, okay, what do I have? Well, I don't want an Arson, right? I don't want a, not that you would, but Sunset Acres Girl. I don't want a Father Patrick trotting colt or a Tactical Landing trotting filly or colt. I just want to have these 5, and I'm going to sell these 4. That's never a problem. I don't know if you paid attention or not, but when you look at the sale board on the stable.ca, our upfront board, there's no shares for sale. Yes, I kept the Huntsville filly. She's a Huntsville, right? I kept the Huntsville filly because nobody wanted the Huntsville filly training down. Fine, no problem. I'll keep her. I like her. But everybody else was able to move their shares. I want everybody to feel comfortable at the stable. And I feel that this is the best way for us to get money in so that I can do my job and look at what I have to work with, whether it be Ohio or Lexington or Harrisburg later on, Ontario, so on and so forth. And I get it. I get the emails from people saying, Anthony, can we not just buy a top Ontario bred? We did last year. There's nothing wrong with Hallie in the Cloud. She just didn't make it as a 2-year-old. And I don't know if you're paying attention, but there are some $20,000, $30,000 horses that end up being very good in Ontario, but there's a whole lot of 6-figure ones that didn't. It's still a very tough horse, in my estimation, to buy, a tough place to buy horses. And that's not an admonishment of the province of Ontario. Right? It's our home. It's where we've been for 2 decades. I just think dollar for dollar, it is an expensive program to buy into. They all are. I don't think that there's an easy one. I just feel when you look at the playing field across the board, Ohio and Pennsylvania, to me, are still the dollar for dollar, pedigree for pedigree, some of the better places to buy horses. And that is not saying there isn't good pedigrees and good horses in Ontario. We're still going to look for Hallie in the Clouds horses. We're still going to look for top horses in Ontario. And yes, even Amy said today, she goes, well, we didn't have any good horses in Ontario this year. No, we didn't. Doesn't mean we won't next year. Doesn't mean there won't be nice 3-year-olds. I have every anticipation that Hallie in the Clouds will be a good 3-year-old. Great Bet was good this year. The J-Port Colt didn't turn out to be the J-Port Colt we wanted, but he won 1 or 2 races. Even the little filly, what's her name, McPaisley, she won a race, paced 56 or 57.
Bells winning 56.
Bells winning 56, there you go. Who else was there? Who did we turn out?
Was it Hallie?
No, there was a nice colt we turned out also.
Oh, the George.
George. Hey, George of the Jungle.
He's actually still here, so.
He's got to go out. Yeah, that's I saw him yesterday. He's got to go out.
Yes.
So we're always, and it always has to be about value, right? If we start getting into, I want 6 Ontario trotting colts and 6 PA trotting fillies, we're not going to get what we want, right? If we go out there and just have a strict list of what we want, we're not going to be focused on what is most important in my mind, and that's value. I can tell you, I said this to Amy today, I know exactly what we're going to end up with a ton of this year. I'm almost certain of it. But I don't want to make any predictions because last year I made a prediction and I was completely wrong. I was happy with what we ended up with. But I remember last year I went in and I said, we're going to be able to pick up a ton of Father Patricks. We did buy some Father Patricks. We're going to buy a ton of Father Patricks, and this is why I think they're good. Looking at the pedigree, I think people are going to lay off them. Now, I'm not saying it was our videos. But they didn't lay off them. They were expensive. So I know, looking at the playing field, listening to people talking, I know likely what we're going to end up with a lot of. But if I had went in there with that mentality, we wouldn't have Punch the Clock. You might say, well, Punch the Clock hurt herself. See what she does at 3. This filly looks like a monster. And that bad step she took, she sounds the dollar now. I'm just not pushing. Not pushing at all. We're going to do exactly what the vet says. We're going to bring her back at 3. And although I'm not going to make any outlandish predictions on a filly that trotted in 56, come 27-4 in the mud her first lifetime start, but I am going to tell you she's a very, very good horse. And I don't regret, not for a blink of an eye, purchasing that filly. And even is. She's worth way more as a broodmare right now than we have into her. I can assure you of that. It's King of the North's sister. And the tactical landings are starting to come to life now. They're starting to come together. People are starting to say, geez, they are a little hot, but man, can they ever rock? There's some good ones. I hope this year, I haven't got to see the full catalog, but I hope International Money has a deeper... I love International Money, but the second year, the first year, it was a value breed. So a lot of people bred their mares. We had some really, really nice horses. The second year, I think people laid off them a little bit because I didn't see the same crop of International Monies. They were impressive the first year, and there wasn't a ton that really had my eyes light up last year. So I'm hoping for a little resurgence from him because they're quality horses. Very, very nice horses. But as we move into the fall, this is, as I said, the first video. We are going to make the buckets up. They'll probably land this week for Ohio first, and then maybe next week Lexington after that. Ohio has always been our bread and butter, and it certainly is this year. We have Gypsy Hill, who's going to, it appears like he's going to race in the final for 300. I would rather race him in the Consolation and the Buckeye final, but that didn't work out. And make no mistake, he's no slouch. He's not going to, as I said, as Jason and I were talking about this yesterday, we were both like, I wish he had made the Consolation final. I said, make no mistake, he draws 2-3, gets a good trip, he'll give them all they want. He's a good horse. And he's starting to come around again now. Jason said his leg is really good where he bruised that cannon bone. It's feeling good. It seems good. He's really coming around. International, or Irresistible Sun, again, we've pushed away from that sire stake path to focus on the Buckeye final and the Consolation. So we're going to have a horse in the final, the Consolation, the Buckeye, and in the filly side, we're going to have one, if not both, Sedona Hill and Purple People Eater in the final. And they're tied, so I don't know how they do that. I doubt they're going to ask us. It's probably just a straight draw, I guess. I'm not sure. So we have either one of those fillies or both will make the final. I would love one of them to make the final, one to make the Consolation, because they're both eligible to the Buckeye final also. We have Swinging Senorita, who's going to race in the final. Third best filly probably in Ohio right now. First and second are kind of sewed up. The Luther filly is the best filly easily in Ohio. Burke's filly is the second best filly, but they are trotters, and they can make breaks. So, right place, right time. Swinging Senorita's made a lifetime of being in that position. So, handy filly, won over 300,000 made lifetime last night. Does a mark of 54. A lot of value there also after all this, and she still has stuff in Indiana. We paid her into a little bit of more stuff also. She's made the final. Coupe de Ville has made the Consolation this year, right? The other filly, Smoking Hot Irish Girl, probably the best race of her life the other day at the Meadows. She has made the Buckeye final. And Coupe made the Buckeye Consolation, as I said. So we have all these distinctions represented. On the pace side, yeah. And somebody said, well, you don't have very good pacers. Well, it's not that we can't race pacers. As I said a minute ago, they might not have been ours that we broke and bred, but we raced. Won the Open Mares with Think of Galaxies, was second with Patrick the Piranha. We've had a ton of luck with pacers. We just haven't bought enough of them. When we buy 60 horses and 45 of them are trotters, obviously we're going to have more quality trotters, right? And eventually we're going to have a pacer. Arson's a pretty nice horse, I think. Time is on my side. If I go by Harry and James, very, very nice horse. So we do have nice pacers. We just don't have the best. When you're trying to race against, Ron Burke, Brian Brown, Virgil Morgan in Ohio, Ron Burke, Jim King, Brett Pelling, all these guys in Pennsylvania and Kentucky, and here in Ontario, no slouches here. Every trainer here, Richard, Carmen, all the Fellows family, Mark Stacy right over there, and Sean Stacy. There's no gimmies. This is a tough business. We are a top stable in a tough business. That's what we are. We're not on the very top shelf, but we're on our way up. And I think that's very important to keep your eyes on for everybody. So when it comes to sales, we are going to make the buckets up this week. I do want to have a strong contingency in Ohio. Now, if you're a client that never bought in Ohio before, I know Steve Palermo has never bought in Ohio before. Always present. I know he's always interested, but just never jumped in. Now, there's no reason not to buy in Ohio. A horse like Swinging Senorita is worth a lot of money and has made a lot of money. We've had a lot of luck with her. And Globetrotting. And yes, and West 52nd. I could go on and on and on. Ohio has been an anchor for us for quite a while. And then this year, Gypsy Hill, Irresistible Sun, Sedona Hill, Purple People Eater. The Whiteface filly, pretty nice filly also. I'm fancy like. Nice filly. We're going to continue to have a lot of luck everywhere, but we have to be able to continue to buy quality horses. So the Ohio buckets, our Ohio horses are a lot, let's say, sought after within our group because we have a lot of Ohio clients. So that's a good thing to begin with. You know, you buy into the Ohio bucket and you're like, I don't want that Pacer, and I don't like that Uncle Peter, and I don't like that, that Volstead colt. Okay, I guarantee you everybody in our site's going to be looking for those horses. I want to work with everybody to get everybody exactly where they're comfortable from the start and have everybody at Christmas time. Nothing would make me more happy than have everybody in a comfortable position come Christmas. Because we all know, I don't know, you don't know, and you don't know who the good ones are. And if everybody is happy and comfortable where they are moving into the spring, we should all have fun, right? For the people that sold out of some of the horses last year that did good, you know how it feels. It sucks, but for the people that moved into some of them, it feels great. That's the added benefit of being involved with the stable. We can move around as we see fit, which is cool, I think. So with that, the Ohio buckets will be coming out this week. Lexington shortly thereafter. I have been looking at the Lexington sale a little bit. I do want to have a strong footprint in Ohio, in all the jurisdictions. And for those of you out there saying, Anthony, you don't talk about Ontario enough, guys, I have absolutely pay attention to what's going on in Ontario. It's just a little bit harder to find value, and it is after Ohio, Lexington, and then they start the Ontario sales, which puts us a little bit behind the 8 ball financially because we've already blown our brains out in Kentucky and Ohio. So now I'm left scrambling and cobbling together revenue streams to buy horses in Ontario. So we will look at horses in Kentucky that are Ontario breds also. We will look at the horses selling in the Ontario Select sale, which are Ontario horses. Wherever we can get Ontario horses, we are going to try and get them. And in fact, there's a couple coming up for sale in the next week that I've been looking at. But what I won't do is overpay for any of them. Now, that's subjective to me. This is my job. This is what you pay me to do. I am not going to overpay for any horse in any jurisdiction. And that's what in my mind, makes Ontario tough. And that is a feather in the cap of the breeders in Ontario. I find it very difficult to find value in some of the horses that we buy in Ontario. I look at them, some of them bring 6 figures. I'm like, geez, nobody cares what I think, and they could go out and win every single race. But I just don't see that horse being a 6-figure horse. And that's why I find it a little more difficult. It's a tough place to buy. And that's a great thing for the breeders. And you know what? Good for the program. But for me, a volume purchaser of yearlings, it's a difficult thing to kind of weed through, right? So that's where we're at right now. And it is that time of year. We are here now. It is almost September. It's pumpkin spice latte season, apparently. They're not horrible. Tastes a lot like gingerbread. But I've been so stubborn. For 5 years, I refused to drink these things. So I gotta watch what I say with Amy. As I said, it's a beautiful day. It's been a beautiful week. We've had a lot of luck. We got a lot coming up. I know we still have Arson and 2 other horses today, I believe. Alibaba's gonna race soon. That will be her first lifetime start in Illinois after being canceled. She's been to the racetrack twice to race. Been rained out both times. You have to understand, though, DeCoyne and Springfield, these are fair tracks, but these are old institutions that are mostly clay tracks. You could spit on the track and you need mud fenders. A monsoon, the same as Kentucky. Kentucky works hard. Like, when Kentucky knows rain is coming, they'll just pour that sand on it. But if it rains hard, races are canceled. And it will. They do it all the time. So, really, now my favorite time of year, you guys know, is the fall, right? Many of you know. Now, I'm a Christmas guy. I love Christmas, but I love fall because it leads into the Christmas season. I just bypass Halloween. I hate Halloween. I think it's useless. I have no use for it. I tell my kids all the time, I'll take you, Mom or I'll take you trick-or-treating, but I'm not getting dressed up. I hate Halloween. I'm just not a Halloween guy. November 1st, that's Christmas season. The Christmas lights go on. Nah, Amy won't put them up. She won't let me. But the Christmas music goes on. My kids I got them trained now too. They love Christmas also. So my favorite time of year for us is the fall. It's stressful because you're buying the horses. The most stressful time is paying for the horses. But buying the horses, trying to figure out which ones we want, getting them in place, getting them situated where they need to be, getting them broke and jogging and moving. That's my favorite time of year, and the fall is. Fall days like today, it's going to be a nice day here in Ontario. So again, we're here right now because Preston and Emily are getting married this afternoon. So congratulations again to them. We're going to go to the party tonight. And wish them well. And then continue on our way for the rest of the week. But very, very happy with the way things have gone. This week, I said it 3 weeks ago. I said it in another video. I said it 3 weeks ago. I was frustrated because the aged horses just didn't appear to be pulling their weight. Didn't appear to be towing the line. Man, did they ever come forward in a big way, whether it be the gatekeepers raced well, the middle of the road horses did well, and now our top end horses are really starting to come to life. Not perfect. We're not there yet. Never will be perfect. But a lot of the ones that I had concerns about have really sprung into action over the last 2 weeks, and that made me very, very happy. So the sales are coming up, both the yearling sales that we're going to be buying from. I am actively bidding right now on a couple of horses on gate. I am entering 7 horses. I did a video. Pay attention when it comes out. 7 horses in the preferred sale a week from Tuesday. I made a case for all 7 of them, why they went in the sale. For those people out there that might be looking for horses, they are all sound, they're all fresh, they're all sharp. For the most part, it's our first step to building yearling capital and bringing in horses. I would much rather race the nominators 1, 2, and 3 horses upwards into that ceiling than trying to race those horses that are at that ceiling. So there is a place somewhere for those horses, but for us, we have a plan, we have a path, and we're going to continue on it. So 7 horses in the sale and preferred. I assume after looking briefly, now the avalanche will start of 3-year-olds starting to come out for sale as everybody starts to put together yearling capital. I want to be on the forefront of that wave, and I think we are. So next Tuesday will be our first step to building some yearling capital for the sales and putting together an opportunity to bring new faces into the barn. And the ones we're moving out, I'm going to be sad to see Austral Hanover go, but my job is to make this ship sail straight, sail smooth, and that's my attempt to do that. So with that, I'm going to let you go. Get out. If you're in Ontario, get out and enjoy a wonderful, I guess it's still August. It's not quite fall. It feels like fall. I'm going to call it fall. A wonderful fall day. Although the stake season's starting to slowly ramp down for some of our rookies and sophomores. Still lots to come, lots going on, and it's just starting to get a different kind of busy here at the stable. Take care. Have a wonderful day.